My third guiding principle, that of vulnerability, is probably the hardest one for leaders to get their head around. It seems counterintuitive on first glance, as we're taught as leaders traditionally to eliminate risk and therefore make ourselves less vulnerable. But I believe there's a stage where we all get to where we've done that too much. And what we've created is a very safe, very predictable organisation, which is arguably too safe and too predictable because we're not able to take advantage of opportunities that come up. And that's what vulnerability is all about. It's about making sure that you are in a position to pivot and to exploit opportunities as and when they arise. Now, for this guiding principle to be adopted and embedded, three considerations which are front and centre. First of all, as a leader, you need to be comfortable admitting you don't have all the answers. So you need to demonstrate vulnerability in a very practical sense by getting really good at asking challenging questions and then pausing. And even if you do know the answer or think you know the answer, letting others come up with potential solutions. So rather than you always coming up with the solution and the way forward, vulnerability is around letting others contribute to the conversation, letting others put ideas forward, other strategies on the table. And it's about you observing rather than leading. So it is a sea change, or at least a shift for some leaders to make, working vulnerability into the way they operate and therefore the way the company operates. But if you do this, there is three distinct benefits. First of all, the organisation will become one which learns from failure. So it's a really crucial shift for some organisations to make, because traditionally failure can get buried. We can hide our mistakes, and that produces a negative culture. If we're working from a vulnerability standpoint, then it's the opposite. We're encouraging people to admit when things haven't gone as planned so that we can learn from it. And so as an organisation, we can do better next time. The second application, if you bring vulnerability into play, is it challenges the status quo. And it becomes the new way you operate as an organisation. So it takes you out of the safe zone, the comfort zone, and puts you in a space that you're not sure what's going to happen for part of the time, which again is really challenging and seems counterintuitive, but it's where you'll be most creative. So you're challenging the status quo and you're adopting a different mentality. You're adopting a mentality that what got you here might not get you there. And just using that as a starting point in conversations, in workshops and in meetings is really powerful. And the third benefit of introducing this guiding principle is it gets you focused on the known unknowns. We can just focus on what we already know, and that's dangerous. So by using this principle and by embedding this principle, it changes the conversation again. It brings more external focus and allows you to start conversations with what if ... So vulnerability is not something which naturally comes to most leaders or most organisations, but I believe it's a really liberating principle once adopted. And if you combine that with the previous two principles of alignment and transparency, it makes running an organisation and leading an organisation that much simpler. So I'd strongly encourage you to consider adopting these three guiding principles in a way of making a better organisation.